So let's call this meeting to order. We're going to take a roll call vote. Commissioner Wade,
Here.
Commissioner Bowens, Commissioner Stubblefield,
Here.
Commissioner Glover.
Here.
The chair is present, so that's 5. We got a full quorum. The minutes are before us, and I know we've already read them, so we'll need to.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I've got a motion to approve and a second by Commissioner Stubblefield. I guess we can do a voice vote on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries.
First item was the agency.
First item on our agenda is the agencies. I'm going to turn the floor over to Jody.
Okay, basically on the agencies, when we went through these, y'all passed that with taking the forestry division out. So we'll take the 2,000 out of that. And the new amount on the agencies is $636,954. And this way gave a first on it.
Yes, we'll need to vote. And I got a motion by is it Commissioner Wade
Yes. I make a motion.
and a second by
Second, James Bowens.
Mr. Bowens. Any more questions? If not, let's vote. Commissioner Wade,
Aye.
Mr. Bowens,
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield,
Aye.
Commissioner Glover.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. And second thing on our agenda tonight is the $500,000 that we were going to move from general fund, from solid waste to general fund. We're going to need to leave that money in there in order to get solid waste in the black. That way they can pay their $200,000 interfund loan. That leaves $300,000 to kind of right this wrong, and then the solid waste committee is going to come to us to help figure out how to fix the problem out there. So, any questions on that?
So basically, there's going to be budget amendment number 37, where the money is sitting in General Capital Projects Fund 171 line item, and we're going to decrease that line item and put it in a line item that says operating transfer back to solid waste. And then there's going to be budget amendment number 38, where in the solid waste fund 116, you're going to have an operating transfer of $500,000 coming into that line item 49800-106.
Any more questions? You made the motion.
I make a motion we approve.
I got a motion to approve and
I'll
a
second it.
second by Commissioner Stubblefield. Any more questions? If not, let's vote. Commissioner Glover,
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield,
Aye.
Commissioner Wade,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The 5 ayes have it.
131.
Next on our agenda is Fund 131 Highway Department. That's the orange tab in your book. Jody, does it?
It's basically the same budget as last year. The expenditures last year were a little bit more because of the bridge. They were $5,796,000 even, and in the 21 budget, it's proposed $5,049,000.
We have any questions on this budget?
I make a motion we approve the budget.
And she made it last time.
I've got a
I
motion.
make a motion, we accept the highway department.
I've got a motion approved by Commissioner Stubblefield and you're going to a second by Commissioner Glover. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Stubblefield,
Aye.
Commissioner Glover,
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens,
Aye.
Commissioner Wade.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, so the ayes have it.
Okay.
And
We're on 151.
the 141 schools would be the next one, but that is going to come up to us on May the 12th. So we're going to 151 green tab in your book, which is debt service. We'll turn the floor over to Jody, our finance director.
On your 151, you'll notice that the expenses in the 20 budget were $16,512,700, and they went down in the 21 budget. They're $15,723,000 even. And your ending fund balance for 21 is projected at 11,782,240. I think Dennis Wade had, okay.
Commissioner Wade?
I would like to make the comment that earlier I had asked that this is, I made the point that this is a strong fund balance. The question is, how much do we need in there? And I'm not for moving money out of it just to be moving money out of it. But what I'm interested in is seeing a, well, what did I call it?
Capital,
Capital improvement fund that we can use to, in the future, to fund projects and things that come up in the year that are sort of a surprise maybe to us. Okay, so I would just suggest to consider that we at least consider 1 penny of the tax rate being moved to that new project. I understand there's more, maybe some more questions to it than that, and I'm not ready to vote tonight until we have our questions answered.
that's great. We'll get our finance director on that and maybe report back our next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
We ready to vote on our debt service fund?
I'll make a motion.
We will have an opportunity to come back and talk about the allocation of the property tax rate, right?
Right, that's something you do on the very last
That's
meeting.
what I was, just wanted to confirm.
You could pass the budget and we could say, well, you kind of want to take a penny out of there.
Before we vote on this, I was going to ask that. Do we want to put this on hold to find out, make sure, let's get the information from her on that capital
Put it
fund?
on hold.
That sounds good, Mr. Bowles. Let's do that.
Yes,
Sounds good.
both until we know for sure about the penny.
We've already taken care of our agencies. So that pretty much got that until we do the,
You want to kind of flip through the budget to see,
We got the general and,
if you flip through the expenditures and that. I already found out today on a revenue for our elections reimbursement, she overestimated that. She thought she was gonna get 69,000 and I'm only gonna get 56,927.
what line, what,
On page 3 of the revenues,
okay?
near the bottom there where it says federal through state reimbursement for elections.
Yes.
She thought it was gonna be 69,000 even, and I've got some paperwork here that says I'll be receiving 56,927. So that will make the revenues go down. These are kind of estimated figures anyway in that column.
well, we're talking about the budget for fiscal year 2021, right?
Right, it's just that fund
I
balance.
want to make sure I'm looking at the right place. I'm showing that you got a zero there.
That's what I'm showing too.
Excuse me, it's in the column where it says estimated actual.
Okay,
I just wanted you to know, it's not just a few $100s, it's gonna go down by 12,000 and change.
okay, thank you.
Okay. On your budget on page 4, you'll notice that the county commission budget for 20 says 432,314, and over in 21, it's 435,711. Part of that was the county commissioners. You'll notice that we only had 146,800 in the budget, and the expenses were actually 147,925. So it looks like it's going up a few thousand each year. So I think that's where you're going to find your major increases. Right there is $3,000. Right where it says board member fees under 191, it says 149,950 versus the 146,800.
Is that the salaries for the commissioners? The pay
Yeah.
that they get? Okay.
Yes,
What page? I'm at
Page 4,
page 4 on.
And line-
Anything else that goes through that line item?
191.
So what's making it go up?
They actually pay your planning and zoning, and appeals board out of there,
Oh,
Okay.
so. I'm trying to think, I think they even pay animal control.
So it's 159.20.
Was some automatic raises?
No. Well, no, you'll see
No,
that,
there's, I mean, it ain't $2,000.
yeah, 105 line item is the same, same
3,000.
salary, and so's the other one.
Okay, I see that. Yeah.
Salaries are the same. It actually happened, in the board member fees. And you'll notice that the actual expense is more. I couldn't leave it back there when I knew it was gonna increase. Not by a big amount, so I increased it. If y'all need me to change it, I can.
No, it's fine like it is.
Okay.
Me personally.
Okay. You'll come down to the county mayor's budget. And he's got 507,487. And his budget went up to 518,000. Not really sure where that's at. And there was only 3,000 up there, so there's still another 8,000 down here line by line.
Would it be something to do with, who's all in my budget now?
A little bit of state retirement.
Engineering services,
Yeah, that Trey had mentioned he needed the engineering services.
Maintenance
So
on equipment.
your copying machine.
Your copy machine, because your engineer got one.
Okay.
He's got a
Yeah.
special copier. Y'all said that it was okay for him to have. So I guess when you add up those three different items, it wouldn't think it would be 11,000, but it is. As you can see, everything else basically stayed the same.
If engineering services. have
Trim
gone
my
up.
part if you want to.
Engineering services have gone up.
I'm serious.
He
what'd you
didn't.
say?
He didn't have any in there at all, and he started using the engineering in mid-year. And he had mentioned he thought 7,500 would be enough. If he needs more than that, he would come to you. What was said.
Seems like he said something about a color printer, didn't he?
That's what made the copier fee go up on that one.
What about the three clerical in the mayor's office? No,
I believe that's the same, isn't it?
Yeah.
It should be the same. That's where you have the two ladies that work in there and the soil conservation lady.
oh, okay, so I didn't,
My budget covered a lot of people.
If you want to cut a few $1,000s here and there, he's not spending his budget in several line items, so we could cut those if we wanted to save a few thousand, but I'm okay with it as is.
It's always nice having that money. If something pops up, we
That's right.
always let's use it.
Pops up. That's right. That's what it's been used for in the past,
Yep,
in a lot of budgets.
that's right.
Okay. And Kathy Hamsley's, you can see hers has went up quite a bit. Hers is in the usual flow where she has one election one year and none, and then she has two this coming election. So hers went up, as I told you last week, on her election workers and some overtime. And I looked at it today to see, hers seemed a little up more than a little normal. That was where they took y'all gave her a full-time person. You'll notice that's real noticeable when you look back to the actual in 19. She only had 82,000 in that line item, and now there's 111,369.
What about account number 336, the maintenance on equipment, computer, and radio? It looks like that went from 2,500 to 12,500.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, she told me what that was.
is that some
Just what
kind of maintenance
but
on
she
it?
told me what that was. She asked me to put that in there. It's where they evidently have to put batteries in the, they have to have a backup battery for the actual election machine. And they hadn't been doing that, and they were gonna try doing it this way this time. You guys can ask her. I asked her why you would put $10,000 in there. It was something to do with batteries, backup batteries were needed
The voting machine.
in the voting machines.
I don't see how she knows what it's even gonna cost to have an election this year.
That's true.
She did express something about if they're having to do something with the mail-in, that supposedly the federal government will be helping with that, is what she expressed. But yeah, hers is the one that went up the most. Due to election.
I wouldn't count on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm. The register of deeds, hers was 326.40 and 20, and it's $330.89. It looks like it's where they have the state mandated fee for the elected official. Got her fee went up, and then it's Social Security, Medicare, retirement.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Keith, are we gonna vote on all these at one time, or are we gonna vote them as we go through them?
Well, we can do however you, what do you suggest? I was under the impression we vote all at one time, but we can do however you want to do it.
Well, I've got one in here I probably won't want to vote on immediately. I might want to ask them to come. I think what we do is, as we come to a page, let's vote and approve it or not.
Well,
If it's yes,
let's go through them, and if there's one you want to pull out, why don't we pull that one out and then vote on all of them, and that way to save it from having to do a lot of roll call votes.
that's a good point. Yes.
So planning and zoning, basically, that one's 391,098. It's 391,296. Probably had a copier fee amount in there where I've got a percentage increase in there, so I think that's where part of his is at.
Computer software.
Then, move on to the next page. You have any questions?
I just see that he's on number 335, maintenance building land to clean up for violators. It went from 5,750 to 9,500. Is he just wanting more money to do more cleaning with?
No, that's where there was a budget amendment that was made, and they put 3,750 in engineering services, but he only used 128. So you'll notice we zeroed out engineering services and just put the fees back in that line item.
Sounds good.
County buildings. His was 1,228,578, and it's gone down to 1,209,878. And that was where we always leave the 60,000 capital in there, but they had a budget amendment in this year capital, and of course we just put the same 60 back in there. I think I was noticing these utilities look like maybe this train utilities is paying off a little bit. When I did the budget, I noticed the utilities seemed like they were a little better.
Yeah.
Your archives, hers was 196.30. It's gone down to 169,741. That's where Miss Yolanda Reed was there part of the time. There was a payout, and I think she did some training. So you'll see where that's up at the top. 34,000 down to 16,000. The finance department budget was 608,981, and we're down to 607,988. I think something happened in the maintenance of equipment. That takes care of most of that now. Your assessor of property, he was 507,043. He's down to 505,785. That's basically because he's not having to have any capital outlay for his computer. Y'all remember at mid-year when we had to move the computers from Windows 7 to Windows 10. So that's $4,000 here, but he did have an increase in administrative. He's still less than last year. Your trustee, very similar thing. She had to have the computer upgrade as well, which was $8,325. So you'll see she's went from $310,466 down to $306,572. Okay. Your county clerk is the same thing. Had to have the computer upgrades, so she's at 681, 237 in fiscal 20, and she's going down to 665, 750 in 21.
So we can't have this yet, how much your revenue may be down?
The revenue that I've received, I haven't really seen a trend yet, where it was affecting anything. Because I saw where all I have so far is where she got, in March, she gets it in the first week of April. So I won't get April's money in from the fee offices until the first week of May. Maybe I should know next week, so.
That includes circuit and cook, right?
Yeah, all your fee offices bring us all of their revenues at the end of the month. They bring up their reports and usually start getting their monies anywhere from the 1st all the way up to the 10th. So I'll see how much money I have from the fee offices for April for next week. I'll see if there's anything where I could put my finger on anything that's going down noticeably. The actual revenues that I've been being told to really look for decreases on with these different finance directors throughout the state. There's an actual meeting tomorrow with a group of us finance directors. There was a finance director from Knox County, Madison County. They're basically telling you to watch out for your hotel motel tax, which that's not going to affect the county's revenues at all, because that's all Industrial Development Board. They're saying sales tax, and they mentioned business tax, and I'm not really positive how business tax would affect us, because I don't really know what kind of issues we've had with any businesses closing within the county at this point. So that might be a question I could ask
Where
county
we at?
clerk of the state.
Circuit court clerks now.
Mm-hmm. Hers is the same thing. She had to have some upgrades, so she was $993, $530 in fiscal 20, and she's $970, $693 in fiscal 21. General Sessions Court, fiscal 20, they were $498, $819. It's staying right about the same at $498, $930. Don't have any kind of increase on your General Sessions judge. It's tied to the Consumer Price Index. The drug court was $128, $493. Up to $145, $783. He gets his funds from a drug grant, and he also has reserves. So when I talked to him, you'll notice he went up in his spending from 19 to 20. So we went ahead and went up there. It doesn't affect fund balance. If y'all want to change that, we can. He's doing something different where he's got this consultant that she's not going to be coming through a different, she's going to come straight through from us. She's not coming through Recovery Court.
She's not
RCI.
gonna do, she's a consultant and
She's going to end up being paid a consultant directly from us, and then I think he put some funds in there for rental of a recovery house rental. So he's changed to.
Where's the money coming from to pay for that increase?
He's got a reserve fund where he gets $70,000 worth of grant money, and I think his reserve fund has around $100,000 in it.
Where's that in the budget?
It's not in the budget, it's on the balance sheet under reserved, or if you look at the your first sheet, your fund balance sheet,
Mhm.
it's under that thing where it says reserved fund balance. It's include.
He's committed that he's going to transfer those funds in to his budget.
Well, by law, Commissioner Wade, he has to, and we do it every year. And the auditors are auditing us to verify we're following the law.
Okay, I just want to make sure because we'd be surprised. Sometimes I have at least.
You have to, and the auditors pretty much, they're on it. We must have about, I don't know, 15 or 20 reserves, and the reserves are all tied to a law.
did we approve a rental agreement on it, a lease agreement on this rental house? County commission.
I don't know if he has one or he's doing a month to month. All I know is he asked me to put the funds in there. That part I don't know. Yeah, you might need to ask him about that. I don't know what he's
Maybe he might
doing.
be sharing with Clarksville or something.
Could
Or
be.
Montgomery County.
It's my understanding that that secure house that they had or something, somehow, some way, there's a possibility that Recovery Community Court.
I need to call in no witness. Lady
Okay.
Madison.
I'm not sure what,
Yeah.
I just know that when he came in and did the budget amendment, we put the $2,400 in there. That was when he said he needed it for a whole year.
Yeah.
So that's why that went up to 9,600. Okay. So we can move on to
Yes,
Chancery.
please.
Chancery Court, was 345,264.20, and she's 340,690. Basically the same thing with the computer, why it went down. Juvenile Court is 492,959. It's going down to 474,858. Same thing with the computers. I think Chet had to change over 45 computers or something like that. Page 19 has the sheriffs on there where it's past flat. The sheriff talked to y'all last week, the things he talked about, they were not put in this budget as of yet. So, you guys want to come back to that one?
Yes, we'll leave that out.
Okay.
They're gonna wait till you ain't here.
You're talking about,
Pages 18 and 19, we will not vote on tonight until we'll hear the sheriff's, probably the night we hear the schools.
okay.
Pages 18 and at the top up there, under the sheriffs, you still got two other items on there. You've got your fire protection services, which is exactly the same as last year, 733,825. You've got your emergency management. It was 254,695. And, it's going down to 188,521. Part of that was where your, changed in your,
Director.
yes.
Yeah.
Changing your director. And there's some capital down there for some grant. He'll usually come back and have a budget amendment done on that. Your health department, it was 985,211. I'm showing it 263,236. They haven't really came to me with their DGA contract, but that's the numbers I came up with, less the capital. They came to us and we did some, capital expenditure budget amendments. Your animal control, it was 298,321. It's going down to 270,767. And that was where he received the $50,000, as a,
Contribution.
correct contribution. That's a loss for word. And we put it in there as a budget amendment for capital. I don't believe he's gonna spend it, but I put that on there, so that's part of the reason why his has went down. The next page is ambulance service, page 22. His was 5,766,749. It's down to 5,357,432. That's where the capital's been taken out. The litter grant up at the top of page 23 was 63,222, down to 62,940. The ag extension was 186,645. It's up to 189,213. This is kind of a smaller budget. He had some change in personnel is what he told me. And then you'll notice we had done a budget amendment for some of his utilities because some people were in the basement that we didn't know about. So that explains a little bit of his. Your other charges were 6,803,781. And of course, they're down to 6,375,505. That's where we, y'all had agreed to do the resolution for the THDA, 500,000. They haven't started that project at all. So I went ahead and zeroed it out. It's a wash. It zeroes out the expense and the revenue. And if and when they start it, we'll just proceed with a budget amendment. And y'all have already looked at the agencies.
I've got a question on page 21, when we're talking about animal control and that $50,000, the donation.
Yes.
I know there's been talk that they may have to use that for their animal control facility, depending on, they're thinking it's gonna come in the mid $500,000 range. So is that money still set aside for him to use?
I think we're probably gonna have to just set up a reserve so we don't lose it, kind of like a committed type of reserve,
Okay.
kind of like we did the 250 for the sheriff,
Right.
so that it doesn't just roll into fund balance.
So we need to do that with the budget amendment on the county commission level?
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
On the 50,000, was there any kind of requirements made by the lady who gave those funds?
To be used for animal control.
That's the only requirement, right? So we could do capital, we could do operating.
That is correct.
Okay, that's just what I want to confirm.
That's
Thank
that's my understanding of it anyway.
Who was it made that gift?
Ann Wilson, Cedar Hill. Clyde, she left it to like an animal rescue, and Clyde had to do some paperwork, and we voted on it. And her attorney accepted that to send the money to us, like it was animal control.
Okay. Little bit.
So we need, to get Clyde to do a resolution on setting up that reserve, so we set that money aside.
Correct, yes. They're gonna need that for their facility.
I think they was planning on using it for, doctor tables and stuff, vet, and, stuff inside the building.
Well, what will happen is if you set the reserve up, then when it comes time for him to spend the money or use it, you can do the budget amendment and hit the budget amendment against the reserve. Or you can just put $50,000 in his budget for 21, if he's not gonna spend it in 20.
My best guess is he'll spend it in this new budget year.
Yeah,
mean, I know
we
they're
had talked
redesigning.
about, putting a freeze on some stuff, but I don't think the committee's really decided.
But that
Because
money,
the bid came in kinda high.
but money's already been
Yeah.
set for that project, and Jason Reynolds with CSR has agreed to redesign it at no cost to the county whatsoever to try to get it within our range, and the range was between 5 to 575. So that's kind of where they're at right now.
He's taking out a lot of concrete and gonna go metal, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, did it come in around 7? Is that?
It came in at 670 or 680, so.
So you want to do the reserve then, since you think you might end up transferring it over to Fund 171?
Yes, I
And be an
think-
operating
I
transfer?
think we need to, because I think their plans at this point are possibly using it for capital on that building.
Get Clyde to prepare a resolution. Wants to vote on that.
Do we need a motion or something to do this?
Yes, sir.
I make the motion.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Wade,
Second.
and I got a second by Commissioner Glover. Ready to vote? Let's vote. Commissioner Wade, how do you vote? Commissioner Glover? Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. So the ayes have it. Now we'll read. How do y'all want to handle our general? Is there any ones you want to pull out? I know we got to pull out the sheriff, which is 18 and the top part of page 19.
Okay.
Any others want pulled out?
Well, we need to pull out ambulance. Because some of the issues that we've got with sheriff might have an effect on the ambulance.
That's correct. We'll have to pull out page 22.
Let me look through.
about animal control? Do we need to leave it as is, or do we want to pull it out? We can,
If you're gonna do ambulance, you probably got to do EMA too.
Do we need to pull out,
We're
yeah,
putting a hold on
that's what I'm,
ambulance, sheriff, EMA, and I want to put a hold on, I want to at least give us another day to talk to, election,
okay.
because I got some questions about, you know, we're telling everybody else we're trying to hold it. I understand we got 2 elections. I understand all that. I just think might be important to us to hear from her.
Right, because it is an increase.
It is, and everybody else is going to be asking, why'd you let her have an increase? So
So
it'd be good to have it on record.
And she will be better off to tell you, just like I was telling you, I'm getting $56,000 back from her budget that she, you know, we did in the March election. She will be better to tell you how much off of this budget she thinks she's going to be able to get back as well. I don't know those numbers.
Jody, do we need to remove animal control for what we're doing that, or are we fine going ahead and passing it tonight?
It's not in the 2020-21 budget. That 50,000 is not in there. So why would we have to hold it? We're not.
Right, you're going to do a,
Reserve.
I think you'd be okay to pass it because even if he doesn't spend it, we're doing a resolution to put it aside as a reserve.
Okay, so we're holding the sheriffs, we're holding EMS, we're holding EMA, we're holding elections. Was there any others?
Yeah, let me look through one more time. I wrote okay, everybody got okay with. Let me just go flip back through them.
And after we approve these, we're gonna call this meeting for tonight.
He's on. Yeah, he's on.
Go ahead and be fast. I got somewhere I gotta be at 6.
Oh, he's got a couple minutes.
Well,
Okay, I'm okay.
all right. So I'll need a motion.
Before let me ask one question. I'm sorry, Keith. Are we approving the revenue side of the general fund budgets?
And I think that's, yes.
Without knowing without agreeing yet on sales tax and some of these other line items? I think we ought to leave revenue to the next meeting.
Sales tax is in your school budget, but okay. We don't have any
Sales tax
in
won't
our
affect
budget.
us.
yeah.
Well, but she's mentioned business tax
That's in
and
the,
a few others.
that's in the school's budget. And the,
Business tax doesn't affect the county general
No.
fund?
no, sir. That's
I
all.
thought it did. I'm sorry. Okay.
Part of
If it's
the,
all in the school, then I'm okay.
the local match for the school.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve all budgets except sheriff, EMS, EMA, and elections.
So moved.
I've got a motion by Commissioner Glover. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
I've got a second by Commissioner Wade. Any more questions? Ready to vote? Let's vote. Commissioner Wade, Commissioner Bowens,
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield,
Aye.
Commissioner Glover. Chair votes aye. That's 5 aye. So we'll bring back up when we hear the sheriff's budget, and we'll talk about the EMS, EMA, and we'll find out some questions from elections and go from there. Dr. Causer, are you online?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Do you want to share some good news with us?
Well, I don't have any preliminary numbers because the board's meeting on Thursday for a planning session, but I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that this is probably, well, it is the tightest budget we've ever had. The only increase we have in revenue, I know Commissioner Wade was talking about, is just BEP funding. That's it. And because of that, then the number of folks that we're hiring is very minuscule, and it's truly based on BEP, and that's it. So it's closest. I know we've talked a lot about expense revenue, and and it's closest than it's been as long as I can remember. And I think it's going to be a pretty easy budget when you all look at it. Not, I can promise you my meeting will be a lot shorter than it's probably been in a long time.
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Causey.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Dr. Collins,
Yes, sir.
I've got a question that's been,
Okay.
how much of that liquor by the drink tax do y'all get?
Well, I'm hoping we get a lot more because people are taking takeout sangria these days, but it's not enough to get real excited over. But it's definitely gone up in the past. I don't have Jody. Do you have that in front of you?
Well, I'm just wondering about the bars being closed in these restaurants, how bad that's gonna hurt you.
Not as much as sales tax and property tax. We get a little bit. We saw it really well when the county was paying us back for 3 years worth, but now that it's only a yearly thing, it's not. I mean, it's a pretty good amount, but it's not anything I get real excited over. I don't. Like I said, believe it or not, one of the things that are helping is the fact that all of our restaurants, when they do takeout now, you can do takeout margaritas and things like that. Not that I do that, mind you. I just know that that's an option out there for our folks, and that counts under that liquor by the drink.
It's a penny, isn't it?
Sir?
Way less.
It's way less than a penny. Seems like it's around $60,000-$70,000, isn't it?
Yeah, it's way less. I don't have that. I know Sheila's on the call too. She
Well,
probably
hey,
can tell you apart.
It was
Well-
75,000 in the budget. Y'all received 65,879 in 19. And I think this is where we were getting some payback. You had received 108,744 in
Right.
just 18.
Right. So it's gone down quite a bit once we start receiving it as a yearly amount. But it's not anything we get real excited over.
Thank you, Dr. Causey.
Welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's all I've got until the next meeting. So I'll entertain to adjourn.
So moved.
I've got a
Second.
motion to adjourn by Commissioner Glover and second by Commissioner Stubblefield. We'll do this by voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.